last time we met, I went through 5 of the Greek translations for love. And while we were reading that, we read one of the chapters. Let's see. One of the paragraphs said that Jesus was talking about agapao, love, in John 21, and Peter says, I phileo. And it's like, what? Wait, what? I'm going to have to look that up later. Well, it's later, and I have looked it up. So I've also mentioned this to Flat Cap Dapper Pastor, who he streams in the mornings, in the morning times. Streams from 8 o'clock to usually 10 o'clock weekdays. 8 o'clock Eastern, that is. And very well read. Pardon me. Apparently I'm boring myself. Sorry about that. Sorry, self, for boring me. Sorry for being so boring. But anyway, so let's read it the regular way, the way that we're used to reading it in English. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon, Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said. You know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my lambs. Jesus said, again. Now, again, Jesus said, Simon, son of John, do you love me? He answered, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said, take care of my sheep. The third time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time. Do you love me? He says, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my sheep. So, that's fine in English, but what does it say in the Greek? Shockingly, so let's read this in, I'm using Blue Letter Bible, and I'm going to tap each word so you know where I am. So, when they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, that is, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Well, what's the verb that he uses for love? Agapao. Agapao, and remember last time we said that agapao is God's love, is described as the Greek word agapao, which means unconditional love, preferential love, that is chosen and acted out by the will. It is not love based on the goodness of the beloved or upon natural affinity or emotion. Rather, it is benevolent love that always seeks the good of the beloved. And Flat Cap Dapper Pastor always calls this self-sacrificial love, which, by the way, I cannot find any other source that says that. So I'm not sure where he got that from. He does have a degree, and I do not, in biblical studies. So, but anyway, so Jesus says, Peter, do you agapao me more than these? He said to him, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. What was Peter saying? Phileo. Phileo. Right there. And we remember that phileo, we said, one of the 4 Greek words for love, this signifies friendship, fondness, affection, delight, and personal attachment. So brotherly love, like I love you like a brother, Jesus. We're in the friend zone with phileo. This word is one of feeling, a heart of love, whereas agape is a matter of benevolence. It's also the word for kiss. So yes, I love you. I love you in the way that I love a brother. So he said to him, send my lambs, not sheep, but lambs. What does the next verse say? Let's go to the next verse. Verse 16. He said to him again, a second time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? He said to him, yes, Lord. You know... Oh, wait a minute. I backed up. I went too fast. Jesus' word for love once again. Scrolling up, scrolling. Take two. Let's try this again. Simon, son of John, do you love me? Agapao. We've already gone through that. That definition is agapao. So, meaning, do you love me with unconditionally? Do you love me? Preferential love that is chosen and acted out of by the will. Do you love me in action? Hey, shalomi, my homies. Altus Rebbe. Hey, how are you? Pleased to meet you. First time chatter. We're going over the definition of... last time we went over the definition of love. And in the middle of doing that, I bumped into John 21, verses 15 through 19. So this is where Jesus is reinstating Peter. And he says, do you love me? And Peter says, of course I love you, Lord. You know all things. What I learned is that Jesus was saying agapao, and Peter was saying phileo, which are similar verbs, but not quite the same, which is why they have two different words. So in this verse, Jesus once again says, do you agapao, which means do you love me unconditionally, preferential love that is chosen and acted out by the will. And then Peter says, yes, Lord, I love you, I phileo, meaning brotherly love. I like you a lot. Phileo, once again, means one of the four great words for love. This one signifies friendship, fondness, affection, delight, and personal attachment. So he's not going to lose his life over his love for Jesus, which he has shown. He will not sacrifice his life for Jesus. So Peter is fessing up that, yes, I know, I let you down. I did not lose my life for you. I did not risk my life for you. I only love you as a brother. Well, Jesus in the next verse says, he said to him the third time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? This time Jesus says phileo. Do you love me as a brother? Do you like me a lot? Peter was grieved because he said to him the third time, do you love me phileo? And he said to him, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. Phileo, once again. So, are you looking at the Greek as a standalone, or looking at the Greek and what the Hebrew equivalent is for Hebraic, understanding what is being said? I am not looking at the Hebrew yet. That is my plan for next week. I am not a Greek geek. I freely confess, I do not have a degree in Greek, but I know people who do. So what I brought this up to Flat Cap Dapper Pastor last Friday, and he said yes. So he explained his interpretation of this is that Peter is fessing up that he did not lay his life on the line for Jesus. And I mean, that is a greater sin than Judas. At that time, it was thought that Peter was the bigger sinner than Judas was. But Jesus reinstating Peter here. So what Flat Cap Dapper says is that Jesus is meeting him here where Peter is at. He's explaining, he's confessing, I cannot lay down my life for you. All I can do is say that I'm your friend, that I love you as a friend. And Jesus still says, I'll take that. Feed my lambs. And then he tells him what kind of death he's going to die. So anyway, that is all I have to offer here. Feel free to look that up, be a Berean, and do your own study about that. So there you go.